Hello, I'm Skye Taylor and welcome to another painting demonstration. Before you begin, get yourself a cup of coffee. I don't like to drink alone. Now today we're going to be doing acrylic paints on a 16 by 20 canvas. Unfortunately, my overhead projector that I invented wasn't quite high enough. It should have been just a little bit higher, but I'll get it right the next time. The painting came out really good, and I didn't want to scrap it. It really came out good. In this painting, we're going to be using gold paint, which really pops it. You're going to love this. You'll see it at the very end. I'll show you the actual painting of this. Now, on down the road is what I'm going to do is I'm going to varnish this painting. But with any acrylic painting, you should let it dry for 2 weeks. A lot of people don't realize that acrylic, it needs a 2-week window to cure. You should never really varnish it right after you paint it. Sometimes you just have to because you sold it and it's a commission. But the ideal thing is to let it cure for 2 weeks. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to show you an incredible way on how to varnish it. And also we'll do the edges. I used to use a sponge, but we're beyond that now. You won't believe how easy this is and how perfect it comes out. And you can use this for probably landscapes, portraits. The technique basically will apply, and you'll never have to worry about little ridges in the painting grabbing on the sponge when I used to do the sponge routine. But anyways, I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. And we'll be talking to you real soon at the end. But if you haven't subscribed, do so. Lots of tips and tricks coming. Okay, let's paint. Shut up. The palette we'll be using for this painting today is acrylic paints, and they are as follows: Mars Black, Bright Gold, Phthalo Blue, Deep Hue Yellow, Lemon Yellow, Titanium White, and Fluorescent Pink. Not pictured is an 8-ounce shot of whiskey in case this painting goes south. If it goes north, I take a Percocet. A Percocet is not a pill form, but in liquid form, and consists of 2 cups of coffee that I perked myself on my soon-to-be banned gas stove. This will get me so buzzed it will be like sitting on a pillow vibrator cranked to 10. Not that I own one, because I don't. This one is borrowed from a bartender who would sit on it to shake his martini. It did not bruise the gin, but his olives were quite shaken, and you should have seen what it did to his pimento. Email me, I got pictures. Okay, shut up and let's paint. I'm using a 16 by 20 by 3/4 inch stretched canvas for my abstract. Although a bought stretch canvas is usually pre-coated with gesso, I always apply an extra coat. Whether you use gesso or acrylic paint to tone the canvas, it is always best to cover the whole canvas so you can paint freely without worrying you'll miss a spot. Painting the canvas fully black or white or a darker or lighter color is a great stepping stone to a good painting. I started the painting using a 2-inch chip brush and Mars Black as well as Phthalo Blue. I love Phthalo Blue for its deep richness, and it has become one of my favorite blues for painting abstracts. I'm painting wet on wet using the gesso white to help blend my colors. I'm using the wet gesso white to help me blend the blue and black background. I like starting a painting with a tone background to give it continuity and to get rid of the blank canvas. Starting with a blank canvas can be intimidating, so by taking control and painting a color background, It pushes you to be creative instead of procrastinating and deciding on color. If you are painting abstracts, you should work at a good pace. If you are relatively new to painting, you should pre-plan your palette with good contrasting colors and go as far as you can. To be honest with you, I hardly lay out my colors in advance. After painting for 55 years, I just grab whatever the painting tells me. If you paint long enough, you will soon find that the painting tells you what to do. The painting will begin to paint itself, and you are just a vehicle to deliver the paint. This is known as painting one with spirit. This is why I stress listening to music while you paint, as it takes your thinking out of the process and it just happens. Sometimes I go back to look at previous work I painted and I can't remember painting it. One huge painting I did in the past haunts me to this day. I know I did it, but can't remember ever painting it or where it went. I have a photo of it, but the painting itself is gone. I searched for years to find where it went, but nothing. I have many paintings I can't remember doing, and I'm surprised to see them when they sell. Sure, you might think it's old age, but that's not true. I was in the trance-like zone when they were painted, and when it was done, my mind did not absorb the experience. I just know that when I paint, I lose all sense of time. It's like I was abducted by an alien spacecraft for a few hours. Maybe I was. As an artist, this is where you want to be. Lost from reality as you let your painting spirit guide you. Once I visited an artist that did live demonstrations. After the event, I accidentally found myself talking art in the artist's painting space. I watched him fly across the crowd to where I was, and he scolded me. "Don't talk anything but art. You're in my sacred place, where I am, one with spirit to create. You will ruin my karma." I just looked at him and I said, well, we were talking art. And then he said, okay, and he just backed off. Strangely enough, I understood where he was coming from and quickly moved the conversation to another area. I wanted him to feel relief. He came back and tried to make friendly conversation on how he could not believe how he just sold a painting on eBay for 10 grand. He sold his work for big bucks on his own website, but he was amazed that eBay worked. Well, you know something, this was back in 2012, and I can tell you that eBay is not the same today. Back when they first started, I was a power seller, but those days have faded away, and no longer is it a great vehicle for selling art. It's a great place, though, to attract scammers who want to steal your work with elaborate schemes. You have to be careful. But this is true with any site. I just got a scammer on Etsy, which does not happen often, who wrote they were interested in one of my paintings. Here is the telltale sign it's a scammer. Number 1, they misspell words. Number 2, you check them on Etsy and they have no purchases or any activity on their account. And number 3, the most obvious, is they are inquiring that they are interested in buying the painting. Interested? Just buy the damn thing and shut up! The red flag is they are interested, but they take no action. If they have questions on size, color, looks, then that's a legitimate concern. But if you're selling something, beware when they don't pull the trigger. Do your research and play it safe. Don't answer them and contact Etsy or your selling site to get the account removed. It will save the next artist, who may not be as smart as you, from running into any problems. After it is through, be proud. Someone thought your art was good enough to steal, and now you are in the same class as the great masters. Have a drink, baby. You have arrived. As you watch how I paint this acrylic abstract, please enjoy this true story of an unforgettable chapter in my life. The story you're about to hear is called The Bowl. It was Christmas Day, 1995, and we were just finishing a huge meal at my mother-in-law's house. My mother-in-law Carol would cook everything in rich butter, and the gravy was loaded. After my wife and the kids ate, they would spend most of the evening with bouts of diarrhea. Mom was always great for cooking everything 3 days ahead of time and letting it sit out for extended periods of time, so God knows what kind of bugs your intestines were going to be exposed to. It never bothered me, and I don't know why, but my wife and the kids were always doubled up and screaming in pain as I just sat and ate more. "How would you like to take some leftovers home?" Carol asked. My wife was shaking her head and waving her hands, mouthing the word no behind her mom. "Sure, we would love to take home leftovers," I said with a big toothy smile. After all, the thought of raiding the fridge at 2 a.m. and slathering mayo on a loaded Christmas turkey with white bread, that sandwich is just too damn irresistible. My wife shook her fist at me with a mean, squinty eyes and then made gestures she would cut off my nuts while I was sleeping. I smiled and ignored her as I drank my coffee. The worst that could happen is by the morning light I'd find myself nutless. But so what? If I had the balls, I would do it again. My wife Sandy would volunteer me to clean up the stove with a flimsy paper towel, and my mother-in-law Carol would graciously accept. I always got stuck with this job, and it annoyed me to no end. The stove was a nightmare to clean, as food was stuck on it from 3 days of cooking. Sandy took glee in watching me suffer. The food was welded on the damn stove, and my mother-in-law forbid me from using a scrubby sponge, as she was terrified the stove would get scratched. Whenever we ate at her mom's house, I got stuck cleaning the stove and washing the dishes. Growing up, my mom never made the son-in-laws do a thing but sit back and relax. I wanted to help, but I wish someone else would have done that damn stove once in a while. Carol began packing up the leftovers for us to take home. "I'm putting the stuffing in my yellow bowl. Whatever you do, don't break this bowl. It belongs to my set that's worth a lot of money." Right there, I wanted to refuse taking it, but I just let her continue. When she was done assembling the leftovers, she put them in a paper bag with handles. We said our goodbyes, and the paper bag was carefully put into the trunk. Upon arriving home, my wife and the kids had a crap attack, so they all bolted into the house. I was left to carry the leftovers all by myself. I opened the trunk
and lifted the paper bag by its handles out of the trunk. As I lifted the bag, the bowl came crashing through the bottom and smashed all over the drive. I was in shock. The greasy butter gravy had oozed out of the cellophane-covered bowl and soaked the bottom of that paper bag. I panicked. Her mom was going to kill me as she worshipped her bowls, and now I had wrecked one of her prized possessions. There would be hell to pay. "Honey, I have a little problem," I said to my wife who was coming out of the bathroom. "Don't tell me. My mom's yellow bowl. You broke it. Please, in God's name, don't tell me you broke that prize bowl. Did you break that frickin' bowl?" Believe me, she did not say frickin'. She used the F-bomb with such force that our dog shut under the table. Yes, I broke that F-bomb bowl, but it wasn't my fault. First of all, your mother put it in a paper bag, and it oozed that radioactive butter-infused nuclear gravy crap that ate right through the bottom of the paper bag. When I picked it up by the handles, the bowl exploded onto the driveway, and now some dumb animal will eat that bio-waste and crap himself to death. I looked for sympathy, but got the dreaded stink eye. It sent shivers up my spine because I realized I married a clone of my mother-in-law. It wasn't necessarily a bad thing until you realize the whiskey bottle in the cabinet was nearly empty. Wait for it. Here it comes. "My mother is going to castrate you with a dull butter knife. You should know better than to pick up any paper bag without holding that bottom first. What the hell is the matter with you?" she said, scolding me. Why the hell do they put handles on a paper bag if you're not supposed to use them? I hate paper bags. You try to save a tree and you end up smashing your groceries when the handles of the bottom give away. Why the hell did your mom use a paper bag for their prized bowl anyway? Honey, you gotta help me figure out how to avoid getting killed by that chain-smoking Nazi you call Mom. Okay, I didn't actually say it that way. I'd never call her mom a chain smoker because she couldn't help it. I looked at my wife in a panicked state and blurted out, "We have to do something." Oh no, don't put the word "we" in that sentence. Put "you" as you have to do something. I know how my mother can get, and don't forget my torturous childhood. I love you, honey, but not enough to take one for the losing team. "What would you do if this happened to you?" I asked, hoping for a life-saving answer. She thought for a moment, and then she said, "I would go on eBay and try to find another yellow F-bomb bowl." I was thrilled with her answer. Oh my God, yes, eBay. eBay is everything, honey. Oh God, you saved my life. "Not my intentions exactly," she said with a smirk. "I was hoping to find a younger stud and not the old bull who just swats flies with his tail off his huge rump, roaming clueless through the fields of life." Sandy never lied, so I believed her. If she got a younger stud, I wouldn't have to take out the garbage once a month. I immediately scoured eBay ads and finally found a matching F-bomb bowl, as my wife put it. I bought it, and not until I told the seller my tale of woe. The seller was sympathetic and promised to expedite the shipping for free, just to save me from the fate of certain death from the merciless mother-in-law who once wrestled an alligator and won and now had luggage to match her shoes. Actually, I like my mother-in-law when I was drunk, but I was never drunk 'cause I don't drink. As long as you did what Carol wanted, you were fine and you would not have to endure the stink eye. I didn't say eyes, I said eye, as in the right eye. If you ever got both eyes, it meant she was going to kill you. No matter what I did, I only got the one eye up until now, but this was definitely a two-eye offense. My mother-in-law Carol called every day asking for her F-bomb bowl back. We assured her it was coming back the moment we finished the food in it and washed the bowl. After the third day, Carol left messages on her answering machine twice daily asking for the bowl back. I was trying to hold her off till the new one arrived. Day after day passed and no bowl. I finally emailed the seller who had assured me it had been shipped the same day. What the heck happened to the bowl, I wondered. Carol was relentless, and now the messages were up to 3 a day, and I was a nervous wreck. Again, I begged my wife for an answer to this dilemma. First of all, you claim the seller shipped it, right? She said. I would go to the post office and see if they have it. Well, it seemed like a reasonable solution to me, so I jumped in the car and went to the post office. They had the bowl there, and they were just getting ready to send it back. The post office claimed they had left a note on my door and they tried 3 times to deliver the box, but could not leave it as it required a signature. As God is my witness, I found no notes whatsoever. I signed the release and rushed home with the box that contained the replacement bowl that would save me from certain death. When I got home, my wife was waiting to judge the bowl I had purchased. You better bring it to her tonight. She left 3 more messages already, and she's wondering if you're avoiding her because she thinks you broke it. She sounds very aggravated and upset. We'll bring her that stupid bowl, and she won't even guess a thing. Yep, the perfect crime is about to unfold. Allow me to open the box. I carefully opened the box and pulled the yellow bowl out until it was in full view. My wife had an immediate comment. You can't give her that bowl. There are 10,000 scratches on it, and she'll know it's not hers, my wife said, knowing that I was doomed. Oh crap! I can't believe the seller never mentioned this in his ad. What am I going to do now? Again, I was looking for my wife to save me. She thought for a moment and then she said, let's fill the bowl with something to give her. That way she won't see the scratches inside the bowl. Then when we return it, we can put it at the bottom of the bag just to be safe. Hopefully, she won't be paying it any attention by then. I smiled at my wife's genius and went along with the sinister plan. The plastic bag was carefully loaded, and my wife put a few chocolate cupcakes in a bowl and covered it with aluminum foil. We called her mom, and we were on our way. The best laid plans of mice and men could go awry, and I wasn't taking any chances. I carried a few rabbit's feet in my left pocket and a rosary in my right. When we arrived, I carried the bag up 5 steps to the kitchen and laid the bag on the counter. Mom had coffee for us, so we sat down to enjoy. About 3 minutes later, my wife started up. Mom, we brought your bowl back and it's at the bottom of the bag with a few homemade cupcakes. Why don't you empty the bowl and I'll wash it for you? I was trying to kick my wife under the table. What the hell was she doing? Her mom seemed disinterested, so my wife tried to fan the fire. You know, I think you should take a look at your bowl, Mom. Skye washed it, and I think you should check it out. I was trying to give my wife stares to shut up. I tried kicking her, but she kept going until Carol questioned her. Is there something wrong with the bowl that I should know about? Carol seemed suddenly concerned as I got immediate stomach pains and shot off to the bathroom. I locked the bathroom door and was frantically upset by my wife's sudden betrayal. I listened through the bathroom door as she talked her mom into removing the cupcakes and looking at the bowl. I was passing gas, scared crapless that my wife was deliberately putting me on the hot seat. I couldn't believe my ears as she was selling me out. Here, Mom, my wife said with a glee. I removed the cupcakes. Take a look at those scratches in the bowl. When Skye washed, he scratched it all up, completely ruining your bowl. There was dead silence as I passed more gas from what I was hearing. The shoe was about to drop. There was silence. And then, no, Skye didn't scratch the bowl. I scratched it myself by putting it in the dishwasher all those years. I took a sigh of relief, and at that moment I wanted to kiss my mother-in-law. No, I distinctly remember the bowl being perfect until Skye washed it, my wife said. I wanted to choke my wife. We won, and she was still presenting the case. What the hell was she doing? I said I did it with the dishwasher. Stop blaming your husband. He didn't do it. Now let it go. Enough already, my mother-in-law Carol yelled. How could I ever say a bad thing about my dear old mom again? I came out of the bathroom and finished my coffee. About 15 minutes later, we said goodbye and got in the car. On the way home, I let my wife have it. How dare you sell me out like that? I said I thought being married was for better or for worse, and instead of feeling better, you made me feel worse. I said letting her have it as I was really, really furious. My wife just looked at me very calmly and said, You don't know my mother like I do. If she would have seen those scratches on her own, she would have gone headhunting. I had to take a chance. Why did you just keep it going until you showed her the bowl? That was so mean, I said, totally aggravated. I did it for a reason, she said very nonchalantly. I had to get to the bowl because I knew you were too stupid to remember to take the eBay price sticker off that the seller had affixed on the bottom of the bowl. Speak about bottom, she said with a snark. I stuck the sticker on your ass as we walked out the door. I was so traumatized by the event a few years later, I built a recording studio and wrote and recorded a song called Diarrhea on Christmas Day. I did all the vocals and instruments myself, including everything down to the final master. It was an inside joke for years, and my mother-in-law never found out, and she never ever heard the song. Without further ado, I present to you our family classic, Diarrhea on Christmas Day. Enjoy.
We all got diarrhea on Christmas Day. From Grandma's cooking, we all got diarrhea on Christmas Day. From Grandma's cooking, she told us to be there at 12.
cream that. For that, she slopped on her plates, giblets swimming in fat. The turkey was cooked about 3 days before. The stuffing was made with crap off the floor. The potatoes were slimy, the biscuits were glue. What's in the broccoli? We haven't a clue.
We all got diarrhea on Christmas Day. From Grandma's cooking, we all got diarrhea on Christmas Day. From Grandma's cooking.
The meal went down in a big greasy lump. In 15 minutes we all had to dump. Should we fight for the toilet or hurry on home? All four together we straddled the throne. What occurred that moment was surely no fun. Pour on a crapper, a menage a trois.
Plus one.
Ooh la la.
We all got diarrhea on Christmas Day. From Grandma's cooking, we all got diarrhea on Christmas Day. From Grandma's cooking.
A year has passed, we still can recall how the toilet cracked from the weight of us all. How diarrhea left us so weak and a knock on the door.
Yes, somebody got a leak.
Eating Grandma's cooking is our greatest fear, but we'll risk diarrhea for great gifts this year. And we'll be singing.
We all got diarrhea on Christmas Day.
Hey!
From Grandma's
Hey, come on, get out of there! There's other people in here besides you! Come on, hurry! I gotta go! It stinks in here! You need the spray! Don't flush! Your turds are too big! How many rolls of toilet paper did you use? You're gonna overflow the toilet! You should've went at Grandma's house, her pipes are bigger! Oh my God! Oh my God! There it goes! Do something! Catch it! Of course with your hands! Your mouth ain't big enough! Oh, the rug is ruined! You'll pay for this! You should've used the bucket behind the garage or a paper bag like the rest of us and throw it on the neighbor's roof! That bubbling noise! What's that? Oh my God, the enamel is coming off the toilet! What did Grandma feed you the rest of us miss? This is awful! I'm gonna cry! Merry Christmas and wash your hands! Merry Christmas to you!
From Grandma's cooking, we all got diarrhea on Christmas Day. From Grandma's cooking, we all got diarrhea on Christmas Day. From Grandma's cooking,
I hope you enjoyed that crazy song. True story. I knew nothing about music whatsoever, but was bound and determined to build a recording studio and make my own music. I did tons of research on how to record and mix music, so with that knowledge, I invested a huge sum of money and bought Yamaha and Korg synthesizers and drum machines, as well as the latest digital recording equipment that just came out. I had a recording pro who guided me all the way on all the great stuff. I spent a year putting the studio together with a soundproof booth and controls to operate all the equipment from the booth when doing the vocals. I had a blast and I learned a lot from intense research. The music was layered in multi-tracks as I have a coordination problem in my brain and can only use my left hand. I can't get both hands to work at the same time. You ought to see me type. Anyways, I decided to do a Christmas comedy album because those were the two categories that I stood a chance in selling anything. I put my CDs up on eBay and sold a lot, and the staff of the late George Carlin bought a copy for Mr. Carlin for Christmas. The staff asked me to call them, and I did as they were having issues with PayPal. Long story short, Mr. Carlin had just wrote a book called Jesus Past the Pork Chops. And they were trying to design a barbecue apron loaded with crazy tools. Now to make a short story really long, I got hired for the job. I did the apron, he loved it, I got paid, plus they sent me every book and HBO special he ever did. I was offered front row seats anytime he was in Chicago. We were in negotiations for me to design a crazy stuff for Carlin to sell on eBay, as he was doing really well selling there. Things went off the rails when he went into rehabilitation for wine and Vicodin, and that was the end of it. But what the hell? I had my 15 seconds of insignificant fame. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Shut up.
Hey, thank you very much for watching me paint. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, jeez. Oh, well, I guess the cat now has 7 lives.
6.
Darn cat. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned. Lots more coming. If you haven't subscribed, don't subscribe now. It's too late. Just kidding. I don't want you to subscribe. What's in this coffee? I don't want you to subscribe because then you're going to know the secrets and I don't want everybody to know it. I don't even like you. So don't subscribe. Okay, we'll talk to you next week if you're around. If I'm not around, I'm very around. A lot of girth here. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye. Bye. Shut up.
Oh, yeah.